Major wall. It's clearly seen this is a flatter surface. If I can understand this is a flatter or horizontal surface. With respect to this wall, I will be making this wall horizontal, this vertical you can say. So that we will be understanding, okay, this is exact posterior. At present this is a round surface. When I will be making it flatter, it will become clear that what is the exact posterior and what is exact anterior. So that once I will be, let's say, when I will be doing the reduction or reducing the mold, that time I may be de-shaping it and therefore I will not understand what was the exact front in this. But I will be watching this one in order to understand what is my front. This is very important. Okay. Any question? Any point? From 5? Yes. See, I am not going to touch the mold or the stump at all. I am just concerned regarding my reference walls. If my reference walls are clearly seen, then my modification is not much of a difficult condition. I will be showing some steps, some few important steps in the modification, and most important is just bring that paper that manual I had given you. In that there was a mentioning of chart was there, that is socket tension or socket reduction values chart. So there was a chart with the soft, medium, firm musculature type, and with that the length of the stump. So we have the longest stump with our model is here, right? Here is the model. So we enter below our first line drawn. Remember we have drawn our first line. Where we have drawn? Is it clear? See, this is something you can do a mistake. Like easily can see here a mistake. Before pouring, see all the marking that was there, you must redraw in before pouring. Otherwise, see, this is the mistake. Right now, I am not able to see clearly what was the line. Although it seems look like this is a line. This should be the GT, and this should be the ASIS, right? ASIS should be here. But this is the something can go wrong because the line was not drawn. Just before pouring, you must draw the lines. Inside it will be difficult to draw, but if you must draw at least 2-3 lines, so that, or other way, just over the, just as I said, using nails and putting the line. Similarly, you can put outside the cast, because if you can see that will be difficult to see. But if you can put the nail and then pour, then the line will be made with respect to the nail. It will be clear. At least we can see this one, this one, this one. So 3 are clear. So I can able to, if we know how much is the interval. How much is the interval? 4 centimeters, right? So measurement tape. It's almost 4 centimeters only. Okay, no issue. So our first measurement should be this one. Why I am saying first measurement? Because I can see the GT is being seen here. So this should be the first measurement. Below GT at least, because as I said, our first measurement is below the IT at least, somewhat below. How much below we have taken first measurement?
Sir, from the GT 4 centimeters.
4 centimeter below. So that will be our measurement, first measurement. From the GT or from the IT. Because IT was made as a, we just hit on the IT with the help of our line ड्रॉ किया गया था, वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ. That line
4 सेंटीमीटर हमने मार्क किया.
ये थोड़ा सा इंक्लाइन हो रहा है, मुझे लगता है यही लाइन जो है ऐसे जा रहा है, just because it थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्ब हुआ है. One like this, ये होना चाहिए. Based on this, it should go like this. So this is something which is again a sensitive thing apart from the reference wall. Once your reference wall is clear, your markings are clear, you have to take all the measurement again and match it with the patient over the person patient measurement that you have taken. That must be measured and checked. So what you will find most. So firstly, actually we see whether our whatever markings or our hand positions as per our hand position which is there or not. Let's see. So someone was from front assisting and his hand was there. So this is the anterior person's hand. He will be just hand will be just beneath the IT lowest point. So it's just beneath and horizontal. His hand is horizontal. My hand will be going like a 45-degree angle with the horizontal and will try to give loading towards lateral on the ramus. So this is something required. So this, if it is visible, look like it's key. This shape is ramus containment because anterior person's hand is here beneath and the person posterior, main person, he will try to just touch outside of the other assistant's hand and then he will try to load over the rami lateral directed force. So that this is the condition. So it is in 45-degree and it's going as high as possible. Therefore, this has been created. Okay, because we have not tried to correct it. So this should be the condition. It's covered as high as possible so that we hope that our fitting will be there when we will be fitting it. It should come. So this is the person's hand and the anterior person's hand is just beneath it. So his hand, the only problem which is occurring is I am unable to understand how much it has gone anterior. Look like it has gone very much anterior. It comes very much medial. Although we know the ramus is the posterior-medial side, but look like, see from the, if you say this is the medial and this is the midline, so look like my hand is very much towards the midline. Although it's not possible with the our person, our model is having a clothing, so I'm loading that load had gone that much for anterior. It's not that much easy. Still, I would say we will be going with this design. We will be thinking this is our correct thing. And another issue is, see, we are containing only. Remember, in the IC socket, industrial containment, we are actually containing. We are not taking any load or weight bearing. So that the person anterior who was loading the IT from beneath the IT was sitting on his hand. So that we have to really find out. If we could really find out that point, that must be released. Little bit material addition to be done at that point, and that we are not able to clearly see. That is the problem here. Otherwise, because of the bandages, it would look like, see, this bandage wrapping can really help you. This wrapping is going very down here. This is simply showing that perineum is going like this. But suddenly there is a obstruction or even unclear condition here. So it may be because of the distortion. Although it should have been like, here we will be adding some material. I am just telling you the main thing that I am going to do. I do not want any load to the below the lowest point of the IT, and for that reason I will be adding in this area because I am containing in this area. So I will be just, my design is like this, therefore I will be containing, this is the containment, and then I will go down, 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 down. This down going is something that I am doing by the addition of material in this area. So I am going, this is containment, and then going down, and then again going up and up, just because here is the exit of this ramus is being contained, and then the ramus is getting joined with the pubic rami and getting connected to the other side. So it is the exit point. There I am going down. It is actually the exit point of the ramus, so that the channel is created so that easily the ramus can go out and get connected to the side panel. Okay, so this exit is just given space so that no loading to the IT, lowest point. And then again anteriorly we are going, covering the anterior side gradually up. There is no scarpus principle in the case of long stump or in the case of IT socket, because the scarpus pressure is needed when you are having a posterior to anterior directed force. But because we don't have any posterior to anterior directed force, no IT bearing, and therefore the scarpus pressure has no meaning here. So we will still be containing this, right? We will be just covering it, and just know if it is our ASIS position, we know that this is the point from where the lateral wall will start. So here we go at least 4 centimeter down with respect to ASIS. We go 4 centimeter down, and then we just from medial side, from the adductor tendon, we are going up gradually and then getting flatter just because this trim line will be down below the ASIS. It should be more down, because otherwise it will be hitting the ASIS. The ASIS will be hit by the plastic, so that it is going flatter in this area, and then again laterally it will be raised, and therefore this is the lateral wall. Lateral wall is almost a round, or you can say circle with the radius almost going as much high as much the ASIS on the anterior side, because ASIS is on the anterior side. So our lateral wall will be going as high as possible, so that to give the lateral 3-point pressure creation. So we are going as high as possible with the radius. You can say the trochanter become our center, and this becomes a radius. So it become a like half circle. So it's just going like this, and then we are going back, and then see the ramus which was contained on the posteromedial side. Now because we have two options, one is we can go containing the posterior part of the ischium. See what it is. Yes. Yes, ये मार्किंग अनक्लियर है, पूरी तरह से क्लियर नहीं। हाँ
से स्टिक देके सर वो प्रेशर देते ना।
ओके, ये शाफ्ट प्रेशर दिखा रहा है। ओके, see there are two trim lines now. One we have learned regarding IC socket. There are two types of IC socket. One is pure IC socket we call, which is ramus containment, right? Another is ischial ramus containment. So there we have two options. If this is the ramus, right? If we contain the ramus as well as the tuberosity, that is tuberosity is on the posterior side, where you say. So if you are containing the ramus as well as the tuberosity, this is ischial ramus containment. And then it will be just horizontal from the medial side. As much high you are covered, the same level you will be going posteriorly, and therefore you are containing and covering the connecting with the lateral wall. So this is the ischial ramal containment. But just because we have a long stump, why we will be covering that much of the gluteal or even the ischium while we cover, or you can feel the gluteal crease wide in the cast also, right? So you can go down, so that to uncover the posterior gluteal crease, and it will be known as the ramal containment socket. Ramal only, you can call it ramal only or pure ischial containment socket. So this is the design. So it will be going down. Now going down means you can see what is happening. If you just think, it's like a wing kind of thing on the medial side, wing. Just because it is going down posteriorly and then again going up. So it's kind of this, posteriorly cut down. So this is making it more flexible also. The structure is mediolaterally more flexible. So that you have to be very much careful that this wing is going to give the skeleton loading, right? The skeleton is loaded from medial side, there is a loading on the ramus, and lateral side there is a loading on the shaft. If it is very much flexible, then you may not be finding its patient will not be comfortable or stable. He will be having mediolateral instability during mid-stab. If this plastic is very much flexible. So this plastic cannot be flexible. Initial socket you can make of a flexible socket. Outer must be rigid enough with the lower trim line, so that it make this structure rigid, which you have made, the mediolateral anal skeleton. So that must be rigid enough. Another point is, see what is not very much clear. Normally the person has got an adduction angle, and that is to be cleared by that it should be going more toward medial. It's almost like a flatter, means it's not adducted during the casting. It's not properly adducted. That is very much clear by watching it. You can see this there is no it should be like there is an angle created at the apex of the GT. Yes, GT should have been shown to be at the apex, and it should go down compared to the GT, and here also it should have gone down. then it means that there is some adduction. So there is no adduction, or you can say almost flat condition. So our patient was having he was having abduction contracture or what? He was having an abduction contracture, so he was not able to do adduction, right? So adduction करना चाहिए था, adduction रहना चाहिए था. There is a problem with the prosthesis also. Why not it was maintained? So it should be maintained. Just because our patient was a model, right? And therefore there are many problems during the casting. Although he is very much voluntarily and given all the effort so that we can get the good cast, but there is still some wrong happened. Okay. My main point now, just give me two names, just one name, or a hammer or kind of a hammer. At present, see, we should be protecting our line that we have drawn. These lines should not be lost. How they lost? This, just because once you are starting your modification, removing plaster, you will be losing them. So why not to create a deep dent, and whenever you put some water, that dent will be very well clearly seen, right? So this is something we are going to do, and not one dent. There will be two dents, so that the line, how the line was going, orientation of the line, it will be more clear. So I am putting two dents for every line. So this is one dent, another end, just beside at least, let's say 2-3 centimeters. So two dents. Now if I do modification, then also it will be there, just because it is as much as this much. So depending upon how much depth of modification you have, you can change that. वो परसेंटेज वाला निकाला किसी ने? Bring that percentage. हाँ? Who can bring? Soft copy में होगा ना? You must have the soft copy. Okay, this is the sharp line, right? Yes. Just draw it on a paper, brown paper, just draw it, so that you need not to draw the mobile. So unclear, but we are just thinking that this is the GT. Okay, this should be the GT. This is our first measurement beneath our lowest point, or you can say IT. So this is our first measurement, and then we are going 4 centimeter below. So our first measurement is what, as per the chart, we will be reducing, right? And then gradually it will go down. Just see what is our patient condition. Who will? Where is the? Sign किधर है? For someone who has got 33% stump, it will be a short stump. Longer than that, it will be medium stump, and above that, above 66%, it will be long stump, right? So therefore, our medium stump is between 30. You can consider our case as a firm. Then the percentage reduction is least. See, and if it is soft, the percentage reduction is more. Now, more is increasing towards shorter stump. We can understand the shorter the stump, more the tissues can be flexible, right? So therefore, percentage reduction in the case of shorter stump will be large amount of percentage reduction. What you are understanding as a percentage reduction? It is the reduction over the circumferential measurement taken by the prosthetist when he is doing the casting, before casting measurement. So that time, whatever measurement he has taken below the IT, the first measurement that he has taken, that measurement is the first measurement, and then equal distances down, there are other circumferential measurement he has taken. So with the first measurement, this 7% reduction if the stump is short.
With the soft condition, short stump, 7% reduction. The same short stump with the firm musculature, let's say the sports person with a short stump, in that case percentage reduction is 5%. That means it is decreasing as the muscle is getting firmer, the reduction amount is decreasing below the IT. So once we know the one measurement, at least one reduction below the IT, other will be just following them. That means lower than that, because down the stump measurement, circumferential measurement reduction will be lesser. Why? Because down the stump there will be lesser tissue, more tissue in the proximal side. So therefore down the stump the reduction value will decrease. Now let's see what is this case. So my first measurement is this one, and we just consider our model to have a firm musculature. Let's say firm musculature, long stump. So reduction is percentage 3%. So if this is 3% reduction, that means here we are reduction by 3%. Whatever circumferential measurement we have of the first measurement below the IT, 3% reduction. And at the distal end it will be 0%. Now you can consider if this is 3%, this is 0%, therefore 1.5% is somewhere in the middle. And therefore you have to just decide in this way, gradually you have to decrease the amount of percentage reduction for each of the levels. Okay, try to understand, this is very much subjective. You can say it's not clear cut, okay, like this only, it's not like this. You have to understand, below the IT 3%, in the middle of the stump 1.5%, distal end is 0%, no reduction. Okay, distally we do not do any reduction, we just keep whatever the circumference is, we just keep that much. So this is, let's say whatever circumference, let's say here the circumference found to be 25 centimeter, it will remain 25. We will not be doing anything. If it is, let's say, larger, just because pouring time it has gone increase, that you can decrease, keeping the shape intact. But do not go beyond 25 centimeter which was taken during the casting. If it is 25, it should remain 25. And here, let's say if the percentage, if it is 30, the circumference was 30 here, let's say, so 33% of 30 is how much?
3% of 30.
That you have to find out, right? That you find, and that much you have to reduce, right? That means if it is 30, it will be less than 30. When you will be reducing finally in this level, the circumference must be, final circumference should be less than 30. If it is 30, it will be 3% reduced. Is it clear? Any question? Know that very well that this is going to be your task of modification in the assignment. I would like to see. हाँ, अच्छी तरह से देख लो, जिसको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है पूछ लो.
Percentage of reduction is taken from all the
It's vary from person stump condition. See, the length of the stump is this. Our patient has long stump. So this chart, this column, the percentage reduction is increasing, and as the shortness of the stump is increases, that also increasing the percentage reduction. This is something important. So you are to understand that the condition of the stump is varying how, and this is just a chart from a research. At least 100 transfemoral amputee data has been utilized for creating it, as per the person who said this, right? Who has made this.
Why the reducing percentage is increasing with the shortness of the stump?
You can understand by as the stump is getting shorter, the chances of insertion of muscle is more getting decreased. The chances of getting myodesis is also getting decreased, and therefore myoplasty may be there, and softness will be more. If the myoplasty is there, then the myodesis. Myodesis means muscle firmness still is possible. If it is myoplasty, the firmness of muscle will get loose. Okay, and this is the reason why it will get, once it is getting shorter, the insertion is less chance, or you can say doing the myodesis will become difficult, or it is atrophy also increases muscle. It will be helping you in understanding how to progress, knowing some basics, and then you can progress or develop yourself, right? So our measurement, now the time has come that now we will be taking our measurement. First we will be taking measurement. We are not doing any modification. See, first we will be doing modification of our reference walls only to make them clear. starting at present, we are just taking our basics, whether how much basics our clear. So our circumferential measurement, I'll be taking it here, and then I'll be knowing it from you what is the circumferential measurement at that particular point, right? So problem is this one, see, this big issue. Our circumferential measurement may not be proper just because of this shape is V-shape. So still note down. Yes, just note in that box.
इसको रिमूव करके नहीं कर सकते
किसको?
मतलब रिमूव करके
See, that is the problem. If we reduce it, only the dent point, that is okay. But maybe we are reducing more than that. Right, possible. Huh?
बोरिंग के टाइम लीक हो गए थे ना
स्मूथ करने की बात कर रहे हो ना? अब स्मूथ करने के चक्कर में हम लोग ऐसा तो नहीं कर रहे कुछ गड़बड़। ये डेंट इस वजह से है कि लग रहा है जैसे कि जोड़ने के टाइम में ऊपर एक नीचे हो गया, तो
लीक हो गया था ना।
तो उसको कैसे तुम मैनेज करोगे? डेंट को कम करोगे तो यू आर रिड्यूसिंग द वॉल्यूम आल्सो, राइट? थोड़ा कर सकते हैं। मास्क लगाओ, मास्क, put your mask on. You are in a closed environment right now. You must put mask. Very important. Nails तो यहाँ है ना? Nails यहाँ लगा है। Nails वहाँ था। हाँ, ये तो जो हम लोग को शाफ्ट जो था, ये शाफ्ट लाइन दिख रहा है, और उसी के हॉरिजॉन्टल नेल्स नजर आ रहे हैं। See, I'm just reducing the dent line, so that too. नहीं, नहीं करेंगे, ज़्यादा रिडक्शन हो जाएगा। ड्रोनाइफ पे ये करना चाहिए, लेकिन ये लग रहा है डेविएट हुआ है पीछे। ओके, जस्ट टेकिंग द मेजरमेंट, नोट डाउन। फर्स्ट मेजरमेंट,
इतना मोटा है।
अरे बोरिंग अच्छी नहीं
दिस इज 45.23
है, यहाँ नहीं आएगा।
2 ओके 2। नेक्स्ट मेजरमेंट, all are 4 centimeter down, right? So 44.8. Next measurement, 44.8. Next measurement, 43.7. Next, 41.2. Next, yeah, 39. Next, 37.1. 36.5. And one more possible, let's say the last one, note down, this one also, 36.5. Right, so these are the measurements that we are having over the mold at present. Now, before doing the modification, क्या बात हो रहा है? Below the GP and just ask someone to just take the measurement in between. That is one way. You can carry the ML caliper, right? ML caliper लेके आ जाओ with this, and when you are doing this, I'm just putting the one just at the GT, or you can say it should be below the GT, but I'm just keeping it at the GT and just pressing on the medial side. So wherever it's pressing, this is the measurement. Now see the inner possibility in the case of our measurements of ML skeleton. You are not measuring something which is just like a flat surface. It's an angle, right? It's just angulated like this. So if it is angulated like this, and this is almost flat, the GT side is almost flatter. So if I keep this side flatter and this side is angle, which point of this angle I will be touching. So based on that, the measurement, the more I go towards anterior, more it will be large volume. The more I go behind, the more it will be lesser volume. ML skeleton I am talking about. See, the ML skeleton is like this. At present I can measure it. If this can be reached here, right? So I can go. So at present, see, when it is touching, it's here. So look like the measurement is 11.5, so it is 10.5 something. So this is the measurement. Here it's being shown. But when I am doing this, my medial side is touching in this point. If I touch it more posteriorly, it will be more towards the lateral, and therefore the linear measurement will decrease. So this is the problem with the measurement of our ML skeleton, and for this reason we must know what is the lowest point that we can utilize always. Lowest point of that is the marking that has been done. So with that marking we can understand what is the lowest point of our ramus. If we can just touch that, that will be our one reference method. Another method you can utilize this, it must be longer enough first of all, so that you can touch the GT. Then over the patient, when you are measuring this ML skeleton, that time you know what is this distance from the GT. Just maintain this distance, and then wherever it is touching on the medial side, you have to understand that on the positive mode I will be taking this distance same as what is our distance from the GT of this line. Okay, so if this was set to be, let's say 10 centimeter, when I was measuring, I must have a scale here also. So if I am knowing this measurement is 10 centimeters, so it will be hitting somewhere in the 10 centimeter. For 10 centimeter, it will be hitting somewhere in the middle side. So wherever it is hitting, I don't care then. Just because I am knowing that this is the same measurement I am taking.
तो इसको सर रेफरेंस करके ही चलेंगे.
Yes, इसको reference कर लेना चाहिए. This must be reference. If you are keeping this reference, then your problem of whether and your scale must be very much in the coronal plane. It should be very much in the coronal plane. Then only it will be correct. Otherwise, always there is a error chance in the ML skeleton measurement. Right. This is the problem with the whenever we are measuring the ML soft tissue as well as ML skeleton. ML soft tissue regarding, see, we take it measurement at least 4-5 centimeter beneath the IT or lowest point, ML soft tissue. So that measurement again, see, this measurement is how much it's coming? It's coming out to be 14, and therefore it's 13, right? So this is 13 centimeters. So this is the measurement below the, or you can say soft tissue ML. So you note down 13 centimeter is the soft tissue ML. But skeleton ML is, I am afraid, it may be wrong, right? If we had the longer scale, then it would have been just keeping in this position only, because it looked like the lowest point or the more clear point, which will be lowest point of the ischial ramus. So that should be there, and I must keep it parallel with the, I can say, medial side like this. It's almost there. So it's coming out to be 11 centimeter. See, ML soft tissue is larger in this case compared to the ML skeleton. This is simply saying that the soft tissue is not much compressed mediolaterally. Normally when we are doing this compression and forcing, because we are taking IC socket, during IC socket we know the ML is more or less loaded. So that time we can reduce this volume also. So during our measurement, ML soft tissue was taken, we can take 2 times ML soft tissue measurement. One is asking patient to keep the firm condition of these muscles, another is loose. And we must keep somewhere in the middle of the 2 value our measurement for the ML soft tissue. ML skeleton is we cannot do anything because that is ML skeleton. This side ramus and that side is GT, below the GT. So we cannot get any differences when the patient is making firm or making not firm. We just are containing, right? The ischium is just being contained. So that's also the reason why we are not asking patient to do once firm, once loose. That we are doing for the ML soft tissue only. Okay, so that we are getting the middle value of the 2 value to keep the volume. Okay, ML soft tissue volume. ML skeleton volume want to be 11 centimeter, ML soft tissue volume want to be 13 centimeter in our case. At present, over the positive mode. Now we'll be confirming or we have the measurement, right? We have some measurement. Yeah. Okay, AP we had, na? We had AP. Yeah, Katini? Yes, 9.9 is the AP. That was noted down, right? So 9.9, na? Okay, 5. So if we have this measurement there, 9.5. See, this measurement is helping me in finding the lowest point where person was sitting. See how this measurement was taken. AP measurement. He was sitting. His leg was like this only. I asked him to do adduction, and I just try to palpate the adduction, the muscle adductor, because it will be protruded. If we try to do adduction, the adductor muscle will get protruded, and that's what I was trying to touch. So if I just get a touch here, and he's sitting on the floor, so that his IT is very much, his pelvis is very much vertical, and he's sitting on the IT. So IT to adductor tendon distance is what AP is. So this was already, now because we have the adductor very clear, from there down we know where our ischial tuberosity is, we can get it. At least we can say it is almost here, 9.5 is something here. So his ischium tuberosity is somewhere here in this position. At least we can say this, that from the adductor tendon, how much behind the IT should be, just because this is 9.5 cm behind, so this is must be the our bone, the lowest bone where he was sitting actually during the measurement. He was sitting on this surface. Okay. So at least you are knowing now that this is not that wrong. We have been just, see, this is something which is in the containment area. The tuberosity is behind surface is this one. This is the behind surface of the tuberosity, and this is being my hand, or you can say the person who is in the behind. So this is not going wrong just because this is the ischium. It is 9.5 cm behind as per measurement, so it should be good. It should not be that wrong just because of the calf disorder. Okay. Now regarding our measurement, our main reference is the lowest point. So we can say this is the lowest point. If this is behind, and therefore this is the lowest point, we can say. So with this lowest point, our first measurement was almost 4 cm behind, but 4 cm down. It looked like not exactly 4 cm down, but somewhat down. This measurement is, this is, and see our distance from the first measurement. So this is first measurement is approximately this much down. Okay, level 1. This is level 1. Okay, so okay. So now wall making. So now we will be making reference walls. Keeping this wall as it is, we are not going to disturb this wall. This was created during the with the line of progression. This was created. So we are keeping it as it is, and now we're keeping it flatter and horizontal. We are creating the posterior vertical wall. See, by reduction of the posterior wall, you are actually creating a trim line also, because we are cutting the gluteal tissue. See that if we are doing this, almost just keep it with respect to this. So horizontal surface, keep it vertical.
No, गिरेगा.
Now keeping it vertical, I can use the draw knife and reduce material. There are chance of breaking, right? There is chance of breaking, right? Keep in mind.
सर थोड़ा सा
धीरे कीजिए.
बोरिंग अच्छा नहीं हो थोड़ा टेंशन है
भांग.
বলেছেন ওটাকে ইয়ে করে দিতে দেখে
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
করেছিলি
হ্যাঁ আবার সিল করা সিল করে
पोरिंग अच्छा नहीं हुआ बोल के कोई फायदा नहीं है. वी हैव टू डू फाइनल ट्रायल ओवर आवर मॉडल. हाँ, मॉडल को डिफाइन करना था. सारा गलती उसी का है.
इसे काट देंगे.
कास्ट क्यों नहीं है? कास्ट खराब हो गया, मॉडल का गलती.
एम्पुटेशन करना पड़ेगा. चलो एम्पुटेशन एम्पुटेशनটা করে নিতে হবে.
इसके बाद वो मॉडल भी नहीं बनेगा.
Surface almost vertical. This is our surface, keeping it vertical. Then doing this. So at least I know this is the frontal surface, right? I will not be changing it wherever I do the cylindrical modification. It will not change. You can make up with the problems like the addition of little bit of material for the reference wall to be flatter. थोड़ा मटेरियल बना लो, इसको हम लोग So I'm trying to create the clear-cut reference walls, all the 4 reference walls. So once they are ready, then we will be going in the next stage, that is our modification. So our modification is one of the important part of the modification. Once we will be making this reference wall, then we will be going for the modification. In the modification, we know that the 3% reduction and the 0% reduction position, we have to reduce with keeping the lateral wall clearly this surface flatter. That means knowing that we are watching exactly lateral, keeping in this position. What is very important in the case of IC socket is to reduce the, with respect to GT, behind the GT, go behind the GT, make an angle of your whatever your thing you are holding or your circumfile, and an angle of approximately 45 degree, and try to reduce here. So what we are creating a very much deepening on the posterolateral aspect. That means this posterolateral aspect we are creating lot of loading, because this is just a soft tissue. So we are creating lot of soft tissue loading on this aspect, posterolateral aspect.
नहीं मिल गया.
मिल गया?
चलो इसी से काम हो जाएगी.
Adding bit of material in the dents, okay, just filling the dents. Wet the mold. कॉम्बिनेशन देंगे तो क्या देंगे? मटेरियल नहीं देंगे, जीटी के ऊपर में यूज करेंगे तो दैट टू एडप्शन को थोड़ा लाने के लिए.
तो डिजिटल
इन द अबोनी क्या बात कर रहे तुम लोग? इन द अबोनी रिडक्शन इज द मेनली बीइंग डन. हम लोग जहाँ पे ऐड कर रहे हैं ऑल दोज एरिया लाइक क्लियर कट आवर मार्किंग ऑफ द ASIS हम लोग को पता है, तो हम लोग उसको क्लियर कट यहाँ पे हम लोग एडिशन करके हम लोग को रेफरेंस पॉइंट बना दिया. ऑल दोज एरिया क्लियर कट, राइट, जस्ट कीप इट हॉरिजॉन्टल. हम लोग का रेफरेंस बनता जाएगा. दैट मीन्स वी आर क्रिएटिंग द पोस्टरोलैटरल कॉर्नर, सॉरी एंटेरोलैटरल कॉर्नर. Very deep dent I will reduce. I find it to be too much deep. So it also must be
reduce. So here I am just creating a corner of the anterolateral, and then I will be going back and doing other dent filling, right? There are a lot of dents. These are just dent I am filling, there is no modification, it's just dent filling, so that to make it more cylindrical.
ठीक है. See its lateral part, lateral femoral condyle. If you see from lower section, most important sensitive area is this one. Lateral femoral condyle, that is very much sensitive and that will be very much skinny. So you must make some addition of material so that too. If we are making a orthosis with this design, let's say a bend knee prosthesis design, a bend knee design. Okay, he will be just holding, wearing it, and we can extend the lower portion. So then also this must be getting cleared. See, appearing like this is the leg portion, है ना? यहाँ से leg बाहर आ रहा है, so हम लोगों को इसको clearance देना है. There is lot of soft tissue here. There is no much issue, but in this side there is only skin condition. So this is problem. I am not adding material, right? I am just filling the dents, and then I will be reducing all this, making it continue. Dent is this one. हाँ ऐसा हो सकता है, बट हमारे पास ऑप्शन ना हो तो करना पड़ेगा ना. See, these are all outside my socket design. Still I am making them proper. This shows the importance of references. Remember, these references are going to tell you in future also, means when you are making socket ready, and you are doing trial and you are having some sort of error. And what is the error could be? During trial you will find that when I will be making him wear the socket, the ramus is not in the exact ramus position. It's like normally it should be 30 degree in the male case, right? Ramus should be angled 30 degree away from the midline. But it is found to be, let's say, like almost flatter, or it's very much like pushing on the posterior side or anterior side. So that means the angulation is not matching. That is, ramus angle is not exactly matching. This may be, but it appears like it is 30 degree approximately. If you see with this wall, this is now one checking point that we have lost. That time I didn't say you. So with this reference wall, this is our reference line. This is our main medial wall, right? So with the medial wall, see the angle of this ramus. It is making angle with the ramus. That's simply saying that ramus is at a 30 degree angle approximately, which is in the case of male. In the female, it will be more away from the midline. That is very important to check. So this is something, one important check we can do. Even we can get a picture of it. You just put one more scale here. एक छोटा scale और दो. One scale here. Now you can see from here you can get the angle. यहाँ से वीडियो करो जहाँ मेरा हाथ है. No. So this angle between this surface and this surface is the 30 degree approximately angle. थोड़ा इधर ला सकते हो. Yes. अभी देखो उसको फोटो ले लो. वीडियो हो रहा है ना. So this surface is this is the ischial ramus surface, and this is the line of progression level plane. So in between them there is an angle created. This angle is very much clear here. So that shows this is should be properly containing, right? बाकी तो हमारा मॉडल बताएगा. Sign will be saying, right? When he will be wearing it, really तुम्हें ये उसे पता चलेगा. Those who once you try, all these are of no use until unless you are not getting feedback, right? And the best feedback is the person who is going to use it. So if he is going to fit, we are going to fit, and that time he is finding that it is exactly in the position, that means success, right? This is something important. Otherwise, whatever I am doing is just showcase until unless you are really doing the trial over the person and getting the feedback. The feedback that you cannot manage to get through technology easily also. Means technology are there, sensor technology, but that is tough. So patient can tell you the best. So during casting you have loaded in certain way, and during a trial you do trial and you find the same sort of fitting what you have done during the casting. During casting you have loaded the certain way and you are getting same sort of fitting in the area where you want. So that is something success. And patient is very much loading it and is saying, yes, I am hanging in that. He is getting hanging inside the socket. Middle-lateral loading is there and he is finding himself getting hanged in that. That is kind of we are saying that it is success. Just keep it vertical and then reduce. Okay, this is soft. Right. Now we can reduce above the GT area little bit, so that to give some shape to this. GT को हम लोग को protrude दिखाना है. We want to show the GT as the apex, and for this reason I am reducing it above the GT. दिखाना है. See? No. There is no need of material addition in the case when there is a lot of soft tissue. So there is a lot of soft tissue in the body. Why to add any material? Right? This is the clear cut logic. And we have to get the fit, right? अगर addition करेंगे तो fit may get loose. Now as I said, keeping the exact vertical, the anteroposterior surface, so that the lateral surface is very much flat. Now you can reduce at an angle of 45 degrees, and keeping in mind that when you are doing this you are D-shaping it, right? Now D-shaping to what extent is good, knowing that you yourself you have to understand, right? We are T-shaping it when we are reducing material like this. I am reducing material posterior to the GT, and I don't have any measurement of the person right now. We don't have, right?
Yes.
So I should not do this. I may be getting more reduced, right? I must need the measurement now so that I will be comparing our measurement of the positives here and the measurement over the patient's thumb. That is the main, right? The positive mode measurement may be larger volume. That will be coming to, by reducing, it will come to the measurement exact that you have taken over the person. From that level, you have to reduce 3% at the below the IT. It is 3-4 centimeter below the IT first level measurement. That reduction will be the first measurement, and then down 0% reduction at the end. So that way you will be reducing. So this I am just showing you that 45-degree angle that I am going to reduce, like doing no touch to this distal portion, because this is simply his leg is coming out like hip. So we will be just having a trim line. This is simply saying the trim line. So this 45 degrees created. This I will match with the upper wall. So I will just reduce in the posterolateral area. That means behind the GT. We call post-trochanteric pressure. Exactly what is post-trochanter is? This is a trochanter posterior to the trochanter. Post-trochanter. So this post-trochanter pressure is important in rotation control. When you are thinking of rotation control, this post-trochanter is very important. So we are already having this 45 degree surface. I am now just matching it with the upper wall, so that this is just a continuum.
सर जीटी को सर वॉल साइड से कैप्चर करना है।
जीटी को
मतलब सर
हाँ
वॉल साइड से
बिल्कुल GT will be captured from all side, you can say, because we are not touching on the GT. Any material reduction is not done from the GT. Above the GT, behind the GT, basically mostly above and behind the GT, and anteriorly lesser, just because there is a tendon which is important tendon, rectus femoris tendon, which is requiring channel, right, and which is coming just beneath the ASIS. So this muscle is important to give channel to, and therefore we are not reducing like this. Although it should be just like a small reduction material you can do, but it should not be. That means it's part of a circle only, right? So how much circle, that is clear by the cast. It is very much clear. Just reduce little bit. Many times in this area there is gap creates. If your circle becomes small because you are reducing lot of material here, and therefore this kind of acute angle creates, and therefore gap is seen in this area, anterolateral corner. So this anterolateral corner gap should not be there, and for that reason it should be as the shape of your modification. As the shape of your cast. See, at present if I reduce over this, there will not be any problem to my markings. It will again come. When I will put little bit water, it will come. It will be seen. So if I little bit reduce in this area, because I know the shaft pressure was very much clear. This is the shaft, this is femur bone, because this is the posterior dent and the anterior dent. So in between them, this is the shaft. So this is bone, this is the main bone he is having. So we are reducing over the bone to the level of the dent. That means we are reducing to the level of dent is something, try to understand, because you are getting the dent two sides, that is the soft tissue, just beside anterior and posterior soft tissue of the femur bone. You are loaded it. So it has been dented by your effort, your force. So to the extent it has been created, dent has been created, if you reduce the shaft to that level, that will be giving the adduction force. You can say that adduction force patient will be feeling. So this we can do. And always match it. See, always there is a chance, because it is soft look like, and therefore there is a chance that it will be more reduced. So that always keep in mind. And losing the dent marks. See, I have lost the dent mark, but I will again get it, because there is a hole created. And see, mostly material is being reduced from the medial and lateral side, not from anterior and posterior side. They are material, the soft tissue will be contained in those areas. So only little bit of reduction from the anterior side.
See, the shaft of the femur is very clear, little bit convex on the anterior side, right? Mild convexity is clearly seen. होता है ना femur? Femur is convex anteriorly, so that is very much clearly seen. Femur के lateral side में shaft में float दिया है. डायरेक्ट इसके ऊपर जो उसका उसके एंटीरियर पोस्टर साइड में जो वो रखा था पीओपी बैंडेज का स्ट्रिप रखा था. सो टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ द डेंट क्रिएटेड रिडक्शन ऑफ द उतना तक प्रेशर दे दिया. तो दैट मीन्स इट विल बी लोडेड टू दैट एक्सटेंट. See, again I am on the medial side. So on the medial side I am just giving a flattening the surface, not trying to D-shape as I had done in the case of posterolateral side, right? I had really D-shaped that side. On the medial side I am just doing it flattening, right? Just flattening. Without D-shaping. And in the posterior side, यहाँ पे strip था ना, therefore this was little bit apex look like, but it is not apex, it's flatter surface. इसके साथ अटैच नहीं हो रहा. ये ब्रेक है मोल्ड.
मतलब सर पहले इतना सा हुआ था, फिर लीक हो गया था, फिर सब निकाल लिए थे.
तो पहले बता देते यार.
मुझे क्यों नहीं बताया?
मोड़ी
किया था.
अभी बच सकता है. We have to be careful.
मोड़ी क्या था? मोड़ी की माफा.
Okay, now just see most important part we are going to do. Just need some very flexible metal strip we have. We can just do some bit of pressure, putting pressure here. Okay, or smoothing. Just give a wire mesh. Yes. हम लोग यहाँ पे कोई भी रिडक्शन नहीं कर रहे. We are doing no reduction in this area. Just see. Yes, smoothing this.
रिडक्शन भी नहीं, ऐड भी नहीं सर.
एडिशन इज जस्ट इन द लोएस्ट पॉइंट है. वहाँ पे हम लोग ऐड करेंगे जहाँ पे उसका एंटीरियर पर्सन, जो पर्सन हुई वाज एंटीरियर, हिज लोएस्ट हैंड वाज जस्ट फीलिंग दैट ischial tuberosity. दैट पॉइंट वी आर एडिंग.
While you are adding the remove the load.
So that not to cause a weight bearing in the ischium lowest point, because that the point was loaded by the anterior person. The anterior person was loading it, so that it was very much clearly came right during if you give a mark there and try to load there, that the dent will come. So that dent, if you are just adding material, so that there will not be any load bearing condition there. So this was our, as we had measured 9.5 centimeters, this was that point, right? So we'll be adding in that area and we'll be just going थोड़ा पीछे, इतना आगे नहीं जाएंगे. It look like very much anterior. I'm just going little back, not catching. See, as much your hand can go in, the more you are containing, right? In the CAD/CAM socket design, it is the concept of catching more of the runners. But the newly socket design, which are saying you need not to cover that much, only cover 1 centimeter of the ischial ramus. So this is how much we are covering. This is the ischial tuberosity. We are covering this much. Why to cover this much if it is this much is enough? So how much is enough is basically depends upon the material, what material we are using. If we are using flexible plastics, we can go higher. If we are using the harder plastic, direct hard socket, then we can simply cover the medial side little bit, and that is enough, just to, not to cause the that to cause the ML locking, right? Only our focus is to ML lock. So if our socket is a hard socket, just cover the part of the ischium, just part of the ischium is covered, that's it. But if we can cover more, that is always good. But patient may be discomfort if your plastic is not flexible, not smooth. In that case, the higher it is, the more it is going to cause the patient feel discomfort. So this must be kept in the mind when you are covering this way. So this was our ischial tuberosity. So we can say we are going to add material in this area, basically in this area. So our trim line will be like this, more going down back side. So this is the ramus being contained. हाँ हाँ नहीं रखेंगे क्योंकि हमारा स्टम्प लॉन्ग है. So we need not to cover this because our stump is also carrying some load. और the amount of adduction control करने की ज़रूरत कम है because stump is long. अगर adduction control ज़्यादा करना है तो we will be covering load.
ठीक है. What's the problem?
Add make little bit of material. Metal loading. Supracondyle. Okay, for the TK purpose. In case of when we have a good stump, है ना, and we had during the casting, see my hand was like this. If you remember, I was trying to give pressure like this. Just above the GT on the medial side, on the lateral side, counter pressure. So this is the medial side, just above the condyle, sorry, femoral condyle. हाँ, नहीं ये हम लोग अगर थ्रूली प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं तो इन द थ्रूली प्रोसेस हाँ femoral condyle medial side femoral condyle में pressure दिया above the femoral condyle and lateral side counter pressure दिया. So this pressure is basically creating suspension, right? Suspension above the condyle. And this is really enough. If you have possibility of doing this supracondylar loading and you have the distal and weight bearing, then there is no issue of having this sort of brim creation and thinking a lot about the brim shape and containment or not containment, angle and everything. So because even though we have given pressure, it is not very much clearly seen where the condyle, femoral condyle above, there must be more deepening. No deepening has come. It simply says that there is a good muscle, good musculature, and therefore there is no deepening. With the amount of pressure that I have given with my hand, that was not giving that much deepening. Only the shape of the contour of the femur has come mediolaterally. So if you even just give some loading over it and do not do any disturbance to the distal end, it will give suspension. Good suspension will come with this, just because this shape itself is giving a good suspension. See, this shape is itself giving good suspension. Exact medial and reducing above the condyle. So femoral condyle is somewhere in this area completing, and we are loading above this. बाकी तो अब बताएगा वो, हमारा मॉडल बताएगा.
मॉडल কিছু বল.
ये बहुत बढ़िया बना है. हाँ,
हाँ क्या
বন্ধ কর তো স্যার চলে যাবে
अगर पेशेंट है तो फिर मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूँगा इफ यू हैव पेशेंट
पेशेंट
हाँ हाँ हाँ
पेशेंट नहीं है आरो तो आज है
अंडरस्टूड ना फैक्ट तो पता चल गया एंड यू हैव टू राइट इट दिस इज असाइनमेंट ऑलरेडी नोट दैट क्लियर कट एवरीवन you have to write the modification in case of STL ramal containment. What I am doing right now is just creating a brim line, nothing more.
Cell brim. Cell brim.
See, I am just in the lowest point, I am just further adding material. Adding up material, making it more down. Yes. Okay, just complete. तुम लोग देख लिया ना? Yes, just then you can all go.
आज के लेकिन कल खाओगे
हाँ. अब इसमें तो modification बाकी है. We will be doing a little bit of correction, right? By comparing the real volume.
Yes.
So real volume will be checked, then it will be finally modified. You all can go then. Yes. मैं इसमें just trimline कर दे रहा हूँ create.
ACL brim.
Yes, still rim. This is still ramus. This ramus is being loaded, and this is the lowest point. I'm further making it low. Lowest point is made low. This is the anterior line is very clear. इसको तो just कुछ नहीं करेंगे जैसा ऐसे
सर ये तो सर इस्चियम का लाइन है तो सर अपने से
उधर रेमस
इस्चियल रैमस का सर
सी एक्चुअली यही जो मैंने बताया ना लोएस्ट पॉइंट जहाँ पे तुम्हारा हाथ आया था मान लो हाथ अगर यहाँ आया था लाइक दिस सो आई मेड इट डाउन जहाँ पे भी आईटी बैठ रहा था आईटी वाज सिटिंग समवेयर हियर तो उस लेवल से थोड़ा एंटीरियर है ना एक्चुअली ये एग्जिट हो रहा है यहाँ से हम लोग का जो कंटेन कर रहे हैं रैमस को उसको फिर एग्जिट दे रहे हैं सो दैट इज गो डाउन गो रैमस ग्रेजुअली असेंडिंग एंड गेटिंग कनेक्टेड टू द सिम्फेसिस ट्यूबस बस ये यहाँ से असेंड हो रहा है
तो सर मतलब सॉकेट का ट्रिम लाइन तो इससे ऊपर ही रहेगा थोड़ा ना
ट्रिम लाइन ये है जिससे ट्रिम लाइन हम लोग सॉकेट ट्रिम लाइन यही है इससे अभी तुम लोग को कंफ्यूजन लग रहा है बिकॉज सी द ट्रिम लाइन मे वेरी फ्रॉम वन डिज़ाइन टू अदर डिज़ाइन और वन पर्सन टू अनदर पर्सन थोड़ा मोड़ा वेरी करेगा उसको लेके तुम ऐसा नहीं कि 100% श्योर हो इट लुक लाइक अ आईसी सॉकेट और नॉट लुक लाइक देयर विल बी सम वेरिएशन लोएस्ट पॉइंट और नॉट दैट इज अश्योरिंग इम्पोर्टेंट राइट हम लोग उसको क्लियरेंस दे रहे हैं वो ज़रूरी है वो देखो इट्स नॉट गोइंग बियॉन्ड द मिड लाइन से पहले ही है हाँ नहीं लैमिनेट डिमोल्डिंग करेंगे ना हाँ कभी तो ट्रायल के लिए तो हम लोग को अच्छा वही रहेगा एंड वी हैव टू मेक ओनली ट्रायल राइट
सर ट्रायल के लिए नीचे वाला पार्ट खुला रहेगा
ऑब्वियसली कुछ ऐसा करना पड़ेगा ब्रिम्स होते हैं आइस सॉकेट ब्रिम्स रेडीमेड ब्रिम्स आते हैं मार्केट में हाउ दे
मोल्डिंग
मोल्डिंग करेंगे
मोल्डिंग का
हाँ हम लोग तो कल फाइनल कर देंगे जस्ट आज शाइन का मेजरमेंट ले लेना 2 measurement for each level. One is with the form condition.
for each level.
Each level.
Below the IT, 4 centimeter down.
मटेरियल लग रहा है
नहीं नहीं नहीं.
ये किसके लिए बन रहा है?
ये जस्ट हम लोग इस्चल लेवल इस्चल का सॉरी ये सही से 4 सेंटीमीटर डाउन ट्रिम लाइन. ओके चलो थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू सर.
स्मूथ करेंगे बट एवरीवन